What is up, math superstars? So in this edition of Mr. Peterson Presents, we're going to be talking about how we can multiply fractions. And so in our first problem here, given these two fractions, we're given 4/5 times 1/2. And so if we just follow the simple math, the algorithm for this, all we're going to do is multiply our numerators together. So 4 times 1 is 4, and 5 times 2 is 10, and it gives us an answer of 4/10. And if we go ahead and simplify that, we can simplify that as 2/5. And so over on the right-hand side here, we have a square. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and model how we can multiply fractions. And so we're going to take our first fraction as 4/5. And so we're going to model 4/5 vertically. And so we need to make 5 equal parts in our square. 1, 2, 3, 4. It requires 4 lines, and my drawing isn't fantastic, but that's okay. And so, but I modeled 5 equal parts. So I modeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts, and my numerator tells me how many I need to shade in. And so it says I need to shade in 4 of these. So let's go ahead and do that. So I shaded in 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. So I shaded in 4/5 of my square. And so now we're going to look at our second fraction. The second fraction we're going to model horizontally. And so we need to make 2 equal parts because our denominator is 2. So we always look at our denominator to figure out how many parts we need to make the square into. And so for this one it's 2. So we're going to do 2 equal parts horizontally. So I have 1/2 and 2/2. And then let's go ahead and shade in 1/2 of our square. So we're going to pick a different color. And we're going to shade in 1/2 of our square. My awesome artwork going on there. Okay. And to find out our solution, we are going to go ahead and count the squares that have both colors in them. So we have 1 square, 2 squares, 3 squares. We have 4 squares. So 4 squares out of, say we're using the same terminology as ratios, out of the total number of squares. And so we're going to count them all. 1 square, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so as you can see, the algorithm we did is exactly the same as our model, and that's where you need to be at. So next we're going to see how we can multiply mixed numbers together. And so in multiplying mixed numbers together, our first step is we need to create our mixed numbers here, which are 2 2/3 times 1 3/4. We need to turn those both into improper fractions. And so the way we do that is we multiply the denominator in our first fraction. 3 times 2 gives, and let's go ahead and add 6 to our numerator 2. So our improper fraction is 8/3 times, and we can go ahead and make our second mixed number into an improper fraction. So we have 4 times 1. It gives us 4, and we're going to go ahead and add 4 to our numerator. So 3 plus 4 gives us 7/4. So right now, our first step is complete of turning our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So for this, right now, we have 8/3 times 7/4 after we make our mixed numbers into improper fractions. So, but before we multiply, we could do something called cross-simplifying. So all that says is we're going to find out the greatest common factor between our two numbers going across. So 8 and 4, the greatest common factor they have is 4. So what I can do is I can do 4 divided by 4 gives us a new denominator as 1. And 8 divided by 4 gives us 2 as a new numerator. And so what we can do is we're cross simplifying. So all we're doing is we're looking to see now, do these two numbers share a greatest common factor? And do these two numbers share a greatest common factor? So does 3 and 7 share a greatest common factor? Answer is no. So we're going to leave those the same. And what we're going to do now is we're going to multiply our new numerator of 2 times 7 will give us 14. And we're going to multiply the denominator, which is 3, times our new denominator, which is 1. So right now we're given the improper fraction 14 thirds. And so we need to make that now into a mixed number. And so 3 goes into 14 how many times? Let me say that goes in there 4 times. So 4 times 3 is 12. And so we're going to subtract 14, take away 12. And it's going to give us a denominator, or numerator, sorry, as 2. And we're going to keep the denominator same, which is 3. So going from an improper fraction to a mixed number, our answer is 4 2/3. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Mr. Peterson Presents Multiplying Fractions.